But if you notice, like, there's countless videos of Busta Rhymes getting mad at females for just being girls. This girl touched him one time, he go crazy, throw a drink on her and everything. See what I'm saying? Like, what? Why you getting mad at females? You go to these guys, they in the club, go to their section. It's all men in the section.
It's nothing but dudes in that section. And now Busta Rhymes is catching heat again. This time, it's not for his music or a wild show. It's because a former bodyguard just dropped some shocking claims. He says Busta had some seriously weird requests when it came to who was allowed in his VIP. And apparently, it was strictly young men. That alone got people raising their eyebrows. But it doesn't stop there. Orlando Brown decided to jump into the mess, running his mouth like he always does. He's throwing out serious accusations, saying Busta's one of those industry guys living a double life. And he didn't just hint. He said Busta turned him out. That claim alone had folks doing a double take. Then boom, 50 Cent came out of nowhere, posting some shady cryptic messages that had people side-eyeing Busta hard. People started reading between the lines and wondering what 50 really knows. Now here's where it gets even messier. A bunch of men are stepping forward, each with their own story. They're saying Busta allegedly made wild, uncomfortable moves and tried to convince them to come party with him in ways that didn't sit right. But let's be honest, this ain't just about preferences. The real issue is these industry dudes putting on this macho image in public while doing something totally different behind closed doors. Instead of being real, they're crossing boundaries, creeping folks out, and even getting physical with people who aren't down for that. This is turning into something way deeper than just gossip. People in the game been whispering for years about Busta moving funny, giving him side eyes and keeping quiet behind closed doors. But now, the whispers are turning into full-blown noise, and everything's spilling out into the open for the world to see. So what exactly did Orlando Brown and 50 Cent say that got folks buzzing? And did Busta really cross the line with young men in his VIP? We're about to break it all down. And let's keep it real. This ain't the first time Busta's name got tied up in something messy like this. He's been catching smoke for over a decade. Let's take it back to 2006. That year, he made headlines for going off on a male fan in public. According to the New York Post, the dude simply tapped Busta on the shoulder to show some love and say congrats on his comeback. But instead of accepting the praise, Busta went from 0 to 100 fast. Witnesses say Busta snapped, started yelling at the fan, and threw out a homophobic slur in front of everybody. And it didn't stop there. Right after, he allegedly turned to his bodyguard and said, "I hate effing F-word men." That moment right there had people shook, and it exposed something way deeper than just a random outburst. But wait, it gets even messier. Fast forward to 2007, when Busta got asked about homophobia in hip-hop, people were hoping he'd try to clean things up. But instead, the vibe he gave off made things even worse. Now that all this old dirt is coming back up, people are looking at the recent drama in a whole new light. Busta Rhymes didn't just clap back at that fan. He went off the rails. Right after the outburst, he allegedly turned to his bodyguard and said, "I hate effing F-word men."
Never heard of him.
Model dude, like a model guy. He be doing like some rapping and stuff. His name Don Benjamin. I'm out with Don Benjamin. And the club we ended up going to, Busta Rhymes in there. Well, I knew about this like in 2012. I knew about this in 2012.
Yeah, he really said that. Wild, right? And if you think that was bad, let's rewind to 2007 when Busta got hit with questions about homophobia in hip-hop. He didn't even try to play it safe. He let it be known loud and clear. Because of what he represents culturally, he said he doesn't support homosexuality at all. Reporters tried to press him, asking if the rap game would ever accept an openly gay artist. And instead of answering, Busta just stood up and walked right out of the interview like he had nothing else to say. But now, years later, the whole convo has flipped on its head. Folks are starting to question, was Busta projecting the whole time? Has he been hiding his own truth while lashing out at others? Because here's the thing, this ain't really about who he might be into. That's his personal life. The real issue is what people are calling out as self-hate, anger, and the alleged abuse behind the scenes. There's been talk that Busta's put hands on women and some of his former male employees. That's where things start getting real messy. That kind of behavior don't match the tough guy image he's pushing in public. And if we take it back to the early 2000s, people were already whispering about Busta's preferences. But guess who had the guts to say it out loud? Wendy Williams. She wasn't just throwing shade. She straight up said Busta was living what she called the homo thug lifestyle. She said it with her chest, and people have never forgotten it. Word on the street is Wendy Williams had a whole hit list back in the day. A list of rappers she claimed were secretly living double lives, and she did not hold back. She'd have callers phoning into her show, dropping all kinds of scandalous tea about their alleged run-ins with big names in the game. And guess who was supposedly on that list? Yup, Busta Rhymes. One caller came through with a story so wild, it had people stuck. He claimed Busta punched him in the face right after he got down on his knees for him. Yeah, you read that right. And it didn't stop there. The caller also said that after it happened, Busta personally told him to stay quiet, like hush-hush level secrecy. Even crazier, the whole thing allegedly went down at a popular NYC club, a spot known in certain circles as a low-key hangout for rappers seeking discreet hookups with gay men. The kind of place where nothing was supposed to leave the room. But clearly, not everything stayed buried. And here's the kicker. Busta allegedly moved fast behind the scenes to wipe that audio from the internet. But Wendy's Day One fans? Oh, they remember. That episode left a mark and people have been side-eyeing ever since. And let's not pretend Busta was the only one she came for. Wendy was out here dragging Diddy into the mess too. She was one of the first to say Diddy might be on the down low. And unlike others who just tossed out rumors, she came with what she claimed were receipts. The real bombshell? Word is, Diddy found out Wendy had a photo of him with another man, and he wasn't about to let that slide. Allegedly, Diddy wasn't playing around when Wendy Williams started airing out his secrets. Word is, he used his heavyweight power in the industry to get her fired from Hot 97, straight up pushed her out of New York and forced her to rebuild her whole career in Philly. And if you think that's just a messy rumor, Jaguar Wright came out recently and confirmed it. She said Wendy was the first to pull the curtain back on Diddy and his so-called homo thug circle in the music biz.
If Busta ever tried to front on me, hit you with no delay, so what you saying, yo? Silly with that 9 milli, what the devil, yo? Yeah, I do his better than him. He better not play with me. I will and perform Busta Rhymes' show. Cause look, man, if they try to say that if you ever thought that the Busta Rhymes was better than me, you crazy.
Now here's where things with Busta and Diddy get real interesting. People are saying that's how their bond even started, off those shared secrets. Rumors been floating that they didn't just hang out. Some even claimed they were passing around the same young dudes behind the scenes. And now that Diddy's knee-deep in a federal investigation, suddenly Busta's ghosting him like they were never tight. But let's not act brand new. These two were thick for years. Go all the way back to the 90s. Busta was right there, posted up with Diddy, J-Lo, Aaliyah, Hype Williams, basically the entire industry inner circle. And it wasn't just industry parties. Busta and Diddy were snapped side by side with Jay-Z, laughing it up like family. But take a real close look at those old photos. Folks swear Diddy was eyeing Busta like he was a whole meal. No lie. And get this, Busta was still bigging up Diddy as late as September 2023, just weeks before Cassie's lawsuit blew everything sky high. That timing alone got people raising eyebrows. Now let's circle back to Jaguar Wright, because she kept it too real. She said Wendy risked it all to call out these so-called homo thugs before anybody had the nerve to speak up. And now, everything she warned about is surfacing years later. See, Wendy wasn't calling them homo thugs just because of their alleged lifestyle or being on the down low. It went way deeper than that. She was talking about the violence, the intimidation, and how these industry dudes would go all out to shut people up. Anyone who even thought about exposing them, they got handled, fast. And let's keep it 100. Both Diddy and Busta Rhymes got a long track record of putting hands on folks. And we're not just talking about beef with other celebs. Nah, it's regular people too. Women and men. Usually folks they know ain't gonna fight back. When it comes to Busta, his legal history is a mess. Go all the way back to 2006. He allegedly put hands on a man just for spitting on his car. That's wild enough, but it didn't stop there. Later that same year, prosecutors came for him again, this time with a whole weapons case. According to Billboard, they said Busta had a machete just chilling in his vehicle like it was no big deal. Then in 2007, things got even messier. Busta got arrested and hit with a misdemeanor after allegedly roughing up his ex-driver over a money dispute. And he didn't fight it in court. He pleaded guilty to both those cases and ended up with 3 years of probation. That's not just bad luck, that's a pattern. But just when people thought maybe he'd calm down, boom, 2009 happened. The New York Post came through with the tea. A fan said Busta snapped on him, not just tossing water bottles, but allegedly having his bodyguard punch the man in the face. And for what?
And I'm walking across the street and Busta Rhymes just grabbed my hand. And he holding my hand. Now I ain't know it was Busta at first. You know, Busta Rhymes tall. I'm sure I came up to about right here. So the first thing I noticed was this big ass flip mode chain that was blinding me.
Just cause the dude was trying to leave Busta's concert early. Busta ended up having to pay out $75,000 to settle it. This ain't just about secrets. It's about power, control, and straight up bullying anyone who steps out of line. According to the fan, he didn't even show up for Busta. He came to see Fabulous. But since Fab never hit the stage, the dude figured he'd head out once Busta finished his set. Simple, right? Well, not to Busta. Word is, Busta told the man to sit his butt back down. And when he didn't, Busta snapped. The fan says he got hit with 1 water bottle, then 2 more, and next thing he knew, Busta's bodyguard came out of nowhere and socked him in the face. Crazy, right? So when folks say Busta and Diddy were real close for years, it kinda makes sense. It wasn't just about fame. They allegedly had some real dark similarities. Aside from those hot tempers, rumor is they shared another twisted interest. Much younger men. And if you ask Busta's former bodyguard, Big Homie CC, he ain't holding back anything. When Big Homie CC sat down with the art of dialogue, the internet lost it. He straight up called Busta a super zest monster and started spilling all kinds of wild claims about what he says Busta was doing with young men behind closed doors. And according to him, this wasn't new. It was an open secret in the industry for years. Big Homie CC said everybody on the inside already knew what time it was, especially the club promoters. Allegedly, when Busta pulled up to an event, the promoters had one job: line up some young, fresh dudes and make sure they ended up in his VIP section. Supposedly, that was the only way to keep Busta satisfied for the night. These weren't just one-off rumors. The way Big Homie CC tells it, this was routine. Something that had been going on for years, with everyone looking the other way. Then, Big Homie CC dropped a story that had everybody talking. He said one wild night stood out, the kind you don't forget. He was at the club with actor and model Don Benjamin, plus one of Don's boys, who just happened to be gay. The second Busta laid eyes on the dude, it was go time. Big Homie says Busta damn near lunged at the guy, pulled him right into his VIP section like he already claimed him, and made sure he wasn't leaving. Big Homie broke it all the way down, said Busta was glued to the guy, barely letting him out of arm's reach. Real possessive energy. But the craziest part? This wasn't a one-time thing. Nah. According to Big Homie, this was standard procedure. Every time Busta hit the club, the unspoken rule was clear. Find the finest man in the room and escort him straight to Busta's section.
They call them fun boys. They'll say, we gotta have some fun boys in the section for Busta.
What about Busta Rhymes? I've definitely seen quite a few people not too happy about your story about Busta Rhymes.
Well, ain't nobody saying nothing to me.
Like clockwork. And Big Homie wasn't just guessing. He said he heard Busta say it himself. Called the guy cute, right out loud. Once he had him in the section, he made sure nobody else got a chance to get near. Big Homie said he's been hip to Busta's ways for over a decade. And when folks ask why nobody ever said anything, he kept it real. They wanted in. Everyone wanted to be close to the fame, the perks, the money, even if it meant looking the other way. But that ain't even scratching the surface. Big Homie also touched on something way deeper. Busta's alleged issues with women. According to him, Busta has a pattern of snapping on women. And it's not just anger. It's something that feels personal. Big Homie said it's like Busta's got jealousy, like he resents women just for being women. And if you think it's just Big Homie Double C talking reckless, think again. He said plenty of others in the industry got similar stories. They've just been too scared or too loyal to speak up, until now. A whole lineup of dudes is now stepping forward with their own wild stories about Busta Rhymes. Back in 2020, a YouTuber named Trip Ali spilled some extra spicy tea on his channel. He claimed Busta tried to shoot his shot one night in NYC while Trip was heading to a Halloween party at a club. According to him, Busta invited him to slide into his VIP section. And at first, Trip was hype. He thought it was just gonna be a lit night out. But then, things took a weird turn. Trip said he got into it with his homeboy, who was not feeling the whole vibe of linking up with Busta. The tension snapped quick, turning into a full-blown argument. It got so bad, Trip ended up skipping the party altogether. Dude said he was so thrown off, he couldn't even enjoy his night. To make things worse, his friend straight up left him stranded in the middle of New York City. But looking back, Trip said that might have been a blessing in disguise. 'Cause who knows what could have gone down if he had ended up in Busta's VIP section for real. Fast forward to 2021, and the rumors started heating back up. People started talking again. Busta was allegedly back on the scene trying to pick up dudes. And then paparazzi popped up with what they claimed was the proof. Pics of Busta allegedly leaving a pride event with a trans woman. That had social media going crazy. But the mess didn't stop there. Another person jumped in with even more tea. And guess who it was this time? Orlando Brown. Yup, again. He came through claiming that a whole crew of rappers, and he named names, including Busta Rhymes and Diddy, had allegedly been with him. That one statement alone sent shockwaves across the internet. People were stunned, but also wondering, how long has all this been happening behind closed doors? Orlando Brown had the internet on fire again after hopping on camera and spilling some next-level tea. He claimed he got down with a whole lineup of major rappers, naming names like Diddy, Busta Rhymes, Drake, Bow Wow, and more. But here's where it gets tricky. Orlando's had a past filled with substance struggles and some pretty out-there behavior. So when he first started dropping these bombshells, most people laughed it off.
We come from a very homosexual era of hip-hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full circle.
Folks just brushed it aside, thinking it was another one of Orlando's wild rants. Nobody took him seriously. But now, with major power players in the industry getting hit with lawsuits, accusations, and investigations left and right, people are starting to rethink things. All of a sudden, Orlando's wild stories don't sound so crazy anymore. Could it be that he's been trying to warn us this whole time? Trying to expose what's really been going on behind the glitz and glam? The bigger question is, who exactly are the rappers he claims took advantage of him? For a little context, Orlando's been popping up in viral interviews over the years, dropping one explosive claim after another, from shady Hollywood rituals to dark secrets nobody wants aired out. In one of those sit-downs, he flat out hinted that there are some serious monsters hiding behind famous faces in the entertainment world. And out of nowhere, he name-dropped Diddy, hard. He didn't say it outright, but the way he told it, he strongly implied that Diddy did something to him, something that stuck with him. Back then, people just laughed. They turned it into another meme, another running joke about Diddy possibly living a double life. But now, That laughter's starting to fade, and folks are listening with a whole new level of attention. Now that serious accusations are stacking up against Diddy, the whole energy around Orlando Brown is shifting. People who once laughed off his wild claims are starting to think, wait a minute, maybe he wasn't just talking crazy after all. When those explosive headlines about Diddy's alleged crimes dropped back in November, Cam Capone didn't waste any time. He brought Orlando right back for another sit-down on his channel. This time around, they circled back to Orlando's viral comments from the year before, especially the ones about Diddy. They even brought up 50 Cent's infamous story, where he said Diddy tried to take him shopping, and when Orlando was asked about it, his answer had people doing a double take. All he said was, he's a nice guy. That's it. Now, folks are starting to think Orlando's playing chess, not checkers. Like maybe he's mixing in just enough truth with the chaos to protect himself. Some say his eccentric behavior might be his way of throwing people off, keeping things confusing so he can keep talking without catching too much heat. On the flip side, others are saying we've been too quick to brush him off. Just because Orlando's had public struggles with his mental health doesn't mean everything he says is fiction. In fact, some people believe those struggles might come from the dark things he's experienced behind the scenes. That maybe, just maybe, he's been dropping clues while trying to deal with the trauma.
How long has it been like this known about Busta Rhymes?
Well, I knew about this like in 2012. I knew about this in 2012.
How can we think nobody else speaks up on it or says anything?
Because, bro, these people admire these people so much. They want to make sure they in the section, they at the club, they at the video shoot, they can get backstage. That matters most to them. That matters so much to people. It's crazy. Like, but if you notice, like, it's countless videos of Busta Rhymes getting mad at females for just being girls.
And one thing's for sure, Orlando ain't done yet. He's gone viral again, recently claiming he had intimate encounters with multiple men in the industry. Whether you believe him or not, people are finally paying attention and wondering just how much of his so-called madness is actually the truth hiding in plain sight. It's not just Diddy getting called out. Busta Rhymes is right there in the mix, along with a whole lineup of others. Usually, when Orlando Brown drops these kinds of bombshells, people laugh and brush him off. But lately, in some of his more clear-headed interviews, he's been making a little too much sense. And if you start reading between the lines, the pieces start to click. Now, with all these fresh rumors swirling around Busta, you already know who had to stir the pot. 50 Cent. And the timing? Too perfect. 50 and Busta are both set to hit the stage at the upcoming Humor and Harmony Comedy Festival. But that didn't stop 50 from throwing shade. He posted that unforgettable pic of Busta rocking that loud yellow outfit from the 1999 MTV VMAs. Full-on clown mode. But Busta? He wasn't just gonna eat that. He clapped back with an AI-generated photo of 50, then dropped a cryptic caption, "I keep telling y'all the blessings don't stop, so we ain't never gonna stop." And he didn't stop there. He kept the jokes coming, firing shots like, "I thought it was Father's Day, 50 Cent, and you out here looking like this." Then he threw in one more dig. "Don't let me catch you in the mirror practicing your look for Shreveport." So yeah, on the surface, it's all jokes between the two. But fans? They're not letting Busta off that easy. People are saying the comedy ain't distracting them from the real tea. One fan even dropped a savage comment. "I've heard multiple gay stories about Busta, that he's a busty snatcher, and that he physically mistreats the minis." Now, whether that's true or not, that line alone lit up the comments. Folks are demanding answers, not punchlines. I remember watching this one TV show where a gay character was secretly dating a rapper who was clearly on the down low. And I couldn't help but wonder, was that supposed to be about Busta? Then someone else chimed in online saying, "This has been known for years, but the most disturbing part? The rumor is that Busta's got so much internal hate and homophobia he actually beats up the male escorts he hires. That's next level dark. And what really has people side-eyeing him is how that alleged behavior connects to his long history of being misogynistic too. It's not just one story, it's a pattern. And folks are finally starting to call it out. So, now it's your turn. What do you think about all these explosive allegations surrounding Busta Rhymes? And what's your take on Orlando Brown's claims about being with Busta, Diddy, and other top-tier rappers? You think he's exposing the truth or just stirring chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's really talk about it. And yo, if you're into the raw, unfiltered truth, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive tea. You already know we don't hold back over here. See you on the next one. Peace!